So I was lucky enough earlier on to have 10 minutes with Mr. Dom Joly. He's going out on a new tour. It's called the Conspiracy Tour, and it's based in part on his book, The Conspiracy Tourist. We had a fascinating chat. And conspiracy theories, I mean, some of them are bonkers, some of them I don't understand. And I think in general, conspiracy theorists, I mean, I don't know if we've got anything in common. I doubt it. But for balance, Dom was saying to me that one of the world's leading conspiracy theorist, Dr. Julian Northcut, is going to be on his tour. Now, this is going to be fascinating. And I've watched a few of the videos that Dr. Julian Northcut has put out already, and I have many questions, and he joins me on the show. Hello, Dr. Julian.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Doctor, how are you feeling about the tour?
About the
tour with Dom Joly, the Conspiracy Tour.
Well, probably a little disconcerted. I've never toured before with this. I'm not familiar with Mr. Joly's work, but I've been asked to do it, and I certainly think it'll be an opportunity to present a counter view to some of his propaganda.
Who broached this subject with you, and who said, do you want to come on the tour with Dom Joly? Because I would say that the things that he's been investigating and the things that he's doing go completely against the things that you have put out so far. Some of the things I've seen, for example, you totally refute the moon landings, don't you?
Well, I mean, any sane person does. I mean, I could name you 40 reasons why we didn't clearly land on the moon. Kennedy stated at the beginning of the 60s that America had to land on the moon by the end of the decade. Oh, guess what? They just managed it, squeezed it in the end, and then made a film about it called Capricorn 1, starring O.J. Simpson. They weren't even trying to hide it. And let me ask you these questions. Who filmed Neil Armstrong when he was coming down the ladder? Why was the flag waving? What, is it windy on the moon? Why were there no stars up? I mean, the whole thing is so nonsensical. It's not even worth it. But I gather Mr. Joly doesn't even cover the moon landing, so I don't think we're going to be allowed to argue those. Now, I was contacted by his tour promoters, and they wanted someone to give balance, and they want some sort of debate in the second half. And my gosh, I'll give him a debate. I'll tell you that much.
I watched a friend of yours, a chap called Brian, tackle Buzz Aldrin in America.
Yes.
What happened there?
Yes. So, well, Brian lives in Seattle, and he's very much his area. My area is not really the moon landing, I have to be honest, but his area is that. And he's absolutely, can you imagine? I mean, being Neil Armstrong is bad enough, and, you know, being famous for landing on the moon when you didn't. But imagine being Buzz Aldrin, a gentleman who claims to be the second person not to land on the moon. I mean, what kind of life or is that? So anyway, my friend's been following him around, basically asking him to swear on a Bible that he did, because he's a religious man, that he did land on the moon. And of course he refused, and in the end rather lost his temper and punched him in the face.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I mean, that's an astonishing reaction, but one from...
Well, it's a liar's reaction. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, I would beg to differ, because I think...
Why, have you been on the moon, have you?
Not recently, no, but I would say that was the reaction of somebody who has been on the moon, and the audacity
that was
of
the
Brian
reaction.
to ask
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was the reaction of somebody who's been paid by big corporations like NASA to keep that secret safe. It's the same thing. I don't know if you're going to talk about my book. We agreed we'd talk about my book, Cows, Britain's Secret Killers.
Yes.
This is a more British problem, but it's exactly the same idea. Did you know how many ramblers do you think get murdered every year by cows in Britain? Have a guess.
I have no idea.
On average, 16,000 ramblers are murdered, and that is the word, by cows every year, and yet we do not hear about it. You don't run it. We don't hear it in the mainstream media. Why not? Big Pharma completely covers it up, pays people off, probably pays people like you to keep quiet about it.
Dr. Julian, I mean, I have to fact check it. It's the BBC. Where are these stats? Where is this information? Where is your proof?
Well, I'm afraid they're top secret, because that's what happens when you have statistics like this. Now, I was briefly lecturing at the Royal Agricultural College in Cirencester, and they allowed me into their research library. I was doing a history of the public bench from 1680 to 1742, and I came across some fascinating statistics. But one of the things that I really came across were a couple of files that I don't think I was supposed to see. And that's when I became this whistleblower, if you like. And I'm being pursued right as we speak by the government, by all sorts of people trying to hush me up. But it's happening, I'm telling you. If you go rambling, you go walking in fields.
I do go rambling.
If you do, then you're putting your life at risk. Are you telling me seriously that you've walked in a field of cows and have not been attacked by them?
Yes, Dr. Julian, I have. Many times. I live in the countryside, and at no point has a cow
You live in the
me.
countryside, do you?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so I presume you're paid by the countryside as well, are you? BBC?
Well, I'm not paid by anybody. I just live in the
of course you're not. You're the BBC. You're impartial.
Yes.
You're fair, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're not on anyone's side, are you? Except for the people that pay your bills. And I'm afraid Big Pharma are one of the people's... What's Country File all about? What's that?
Country.
What's that if it's not rural propaganda?
It's about the country, Dr. Julian. Of course it's not rural propaganda. I mean...
Well, what is it then? Who on earth is interested in watching a programme about people wandering around the countryside unless they were trying to take the heat off what is clearly the story in the countryside, which is the murdering cows?
So you're honestly trying to get me to believe that there are, 16,000 16,000 people that murderous cows have trampled to death in this country? What is that, a year?
It is exactly that on average. And those figures are between 2008 and 2019. God knows what's happened since the pandemic. I mean, there's no statistics for it whatsoever.
I mean, there is just you have no basis, no facts, nothing to back it up, Dr. Julian.
I'm sorry. I have no facts. Have you read my book? I have everything in it. It's index linked. I have statistics. I have leaked documents. And that is why Big Pharma is trying to close me down. They're not even wanting me to go on this tour. They were trying to stop theatres from having me tell my truth.
I mean, Dr. Julian, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own mind up when I come and watch you on the tour and when I see you debate these theories with Mr. Dom Joly.
I'd be more than happy to do that. That'd be absolutely fine. Maybe do a little bit of research would be nice. A little bit of critical thinking before you turn up as well.
I will do. Yeah, I will do.
Might be something you'd learn.
Well, maybe it is. And I'm not, like yourself, an esteemed doctor of conspiracy theories. And maybe if I were...
not.
No, I'm not. But I will see you on the tour, Dr. Julian, and I look forward to your debate with Mr. Dom Joly.
Yes, well, hopefully we'll see what happens. I have no idea what this tour's whether it's going to be favourable or whatever, but it's certainly going to be an experience.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Well, that was quite the experience. Dr. Julian Northcut, the world's greatest conspiracy theorist,